Mexicano bandido, todo el barrio prendido. Siempre ando bien cuido, preponiendo ruido. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, yo defiendo mi tierra. No me dejo de nadie, yo cuido a los míos, mi raza se aferra. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode with Chat with the Aggies.
Hello, everyone.
It is so good to be back again. We are excited for another episode with you all.
Yes, again, me too.
Yeah.
Like always. So thrilled.
Agreed. I want to say thank you so much to those of you who have been able to just share our podcast, those of you who've sent me messages talking about how you can relate or how powerful some of the things we've talked about have really been for you, because that's what this is about, is to give you that encouragement or just that support that you might need, or just that resonation with, yeah, I can relate to you, to what you're going through. So thank you to those of you who've done that, shared, listened, in any way, shape, or form, supported the podcast.
Yeah, same here. I want to thank everyone out there that has shared the love, shared our podcast. I know it's, for me, this was something that I would never see myself doing, but now I enjoy it very much and I look forward to it. Every time we do one, I get excited because I get to get out of my shell and I get to do hard things.
Right.
Something that I don't like to do, but I am learning to enjoy it. Just share this, experience of life that God has given me, and just to share it with people, because maybe if we can influence one person to get motivated,
Yeah.
or to share some thoughts on whatever they're going through life, and I'm enjoying it. And maybe we get some feedback too from people that are listening.
Yeah.
We can get some feedback from them too.
Agreed.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much for the support. It really, really means a lot. Like my husband said, sometimes it's getting out of our comfort zone for us to share these things, because they can be a little scary sometimes, like to me, it could be hard in saying, well, if I share that, what will people think of me, or what will people say, or do I even have the authority or position to say
Yeah.
or talk about something like that? Because my story, my journey is different than somebody else's, than yours, but it's like, you know what? It's my story, my journey, and
Yeah.
everyone has their own story or journey. So what I'm experienced or what I've experienced and gone through versus what you have, like there's always something there that's powerful. So
Yeah.
it helps remind me that.
Yeah, what you just said, like we have the authority to make a podcast, to
Yeah.
talk about things,
Yeah.
like, but to be honest, like we all live a different life, and we try to share what has worked for us and what we're going through in life. This is not something that we have the answers to to the test.
Yeah.
It's like we're giving you a option, an opinion of life that we're living through it, and if this resonates with anyone that they're going in some dumps, then might help someone.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't help someone, to be like, they are doing it totally wrong, I don't think they're doing it right, then that's okay too.
Yeah.
Because you can learn from watching someone doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So
yeah. From people's mistakes or
Yeah.
people's, yeah, you're right.
for sure.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about where were we for the last 2 weeks?
For almost the
Oh,
last
nice.
month,
Yeah.
almost like,
Yeah, the last month. That's
because
true.
last month too, we've taken a trip to Mexico. We went in April,
Yeah.
just for the weekend, and then we just went a couple weeks ago. We were there for almost 2 weeks, and it was really rejuvenating for
I
me.
agree.
It was really grounding for me. I can't even think of words of how grounded I got. You know, we went to the old neighborhood that I grew up in, and we stayed with cousins, with family, and it just brought me back into um, memory lane. Into how I grew up, and showing my kids how I grew up, and just being there without the comforts that we have every day here
Yeah.
was really an eye opener, a experience that my kids got to experience with me. They never knew that world,
Yeah.
and me living in this country for the past 30, yeah, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
My parents immigrated here when I was 10, and I grew up in Mexico City until I was 10. So now going back to Mexico City and being there for that long, it was really eye opening.
Yeah. And I definitely see that in you. Like,
Yeah,
I see the difference in you coming back home or just being there. I noticed that in you. And I
yeah,
think it's so beautiful that we get to share that experience. Like, that our kids, more than anything, get to go see where you were raised or where you would
yeah,
sell your bond, or,
yeah,
like the lady that would, help you with something, or just like to be able to go back to, like you said, memory lane, and for your kids to see that and
yeah.
experience it, and for you to be able to share your stories with them.
I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, like the years and the success and the financial wealthiness that we keep gaining
Yeah.
from living in this country. I'm freaking spoiled.
Yeah.
We're spoiled.
Aren't we all?
We're spoiled Americans.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of wanted to go back to Mexico. Not saying that they're poor,
Yeah.
saying that they don't have the comforts of
Mhm.
everything that we have, or we have an abundance of things. And I think
Mhm.
that's what I got mostly out of going to Mexico, of make me realize of the abundance that we have here,
Yeah.
but we never have enough.
Right.
We feel like we don't have enough. And going there, it makes me realize, like, wow, I have more than enough.
Yeah.
And I still complain. And I'm here in this country where, like I said, they're not poor.
Yeah.
They're doing good. They're doing good for themselves. But just the comforts, the abundance of food, the
Mhm.
abundance of, like, nah, I'm just gonna go buy it.
Yeah.
Or, oh,
Yeah.
I can just turn on the AC.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just gonna go buy a different pillow because this one's not good enough.
Yeah.
The little
Yeah.
things like that, they don't have, or they don't want it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't care about those little things.
Yeah.
But living in America, we're so spoiled that um, we don't realize how good we have it. And I
Mhm.
think I'm bringing that mindset back to myself when I'm worried about those little things. When I'm worried, or I see someone on social media have something better than me, or something
Yeah.
like, I want that, or worried about those other little things. I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm not worried about those things. And that's what I'm bringing back from Mexico. That mentality of, I have enough.
Yeah.
I have it good. But shouldn't complain. And
Yeah.
those are the things that I'm kind of bringing back with me.
Yeah. And I feel I totally relate to that, and definitely can say that I came back with a much more grateful heart, mentality, just of being able to realize that we do have enough. We are always, like you said, so blessed to just make a choice of, I want to buy that, I want to go do this, I want to do that. Oh, I don't like how this looks or fits, or the shoes are old or dirty, and it's like, oh, let's, the amount of things that we just either spend money on or we worry about, oh, I can't look like that, or I can't do this. And over there, I didn't have those worries.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
never
because you
thought
were on
about,
vacation, but
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't see anyone else
No,
worry
no.
about little things,
No. And I
you
think
know?
that's what helped me too come
Yeah.
back to, like you said, being grounded and being present, of like, nobody worries about those things here.
Yeah.
Or they didn't, they didn't seem like they did. It was like,
Yeah.
let's get together, let's have some good food, let's enjoy each other, and just make memories, laugh,
Yeah.
play, hang out.
Yeah. And I think it helped too that we weren't just going there for the weekend to party.
Yeah.
We stayed there for a whole 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and we were there during the work week. They would go to work and
Mhm.
they would come back, and we would see how they would get up early in the morning, how they would go to sleep late at night. They would work long hours.
Mhm.
We acknowledge that, and we're very thankful that they took us in for that long. But at the same time, when they would come home, they weren't worried about tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they weren't worried about tomorrow. They were worried about today. Like, okay, cool. What are we gonna eat today?
Mhm.
They weren't like on their phones looking at, what
Mhm.
is my neighbor thinking about, what is my neighbor sharing, what are the politicians saying on social media.
Yeah.
They weren't even on their phones.
Yeah.
Like, nobody was on their phones there. So I think they made them be more present every
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
They're with what they have,
Being with where they were, with who they were with.
who they have control, like what they have control over. They weren't worried about things that they were out of their control.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way that, like, there's things that happened while we were there, or the news, that happened out there, but it wasn't like that took a toll on them. I
Right.
also noticed that too. It was like, yeah, the news, this happened, but they weren't overwhelmed by it or in a negative state of mind by it or feeling like doomed,
Yeah.
and I feel like we in America do that.
Yeah.
Something's wrong and it's like we're doomed, this is just the worst, but
Yeah.
not them.
Yeah, they weren't how it is here. Like I see it here, like if something in the politics happened, oh, I'm gonna share this on Facebook, and if you don't like it,
Hmm.
delete me. Nobody gave a
Yeah,
shit. Like
yeah.
they were like, cool, yeah, the president sucks, man. Like, all right, we gotta go hustle because we gotta eat.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it was like cool, like that happened. What can we do about it? We have no control over it. But I'm
Hmm.
also not gonna make my neighbor feel bad because I post something and I'm like, oh, delete
Yeah.
me if you don't think I like me.
Right. That's so true. And I think that leads us to the very first point I want to make is like they find a purpose in what they have and who
Yeah,
they are, They find that wealth mentality
yeah,
in their living of a purpose of whatever they find that happiness in.
yeah. They kind of find a purpose in their life. Like if your purpose is to be a mom,
Mhm.
they do the best they can at being a
Mhm.
mom, and they take that role to heart.
Yeah.
We noticed that with my cousins. They're female cousins, that they take their mom role really serious.
Mhm.
That when it involves, when my cousin would ask, "Hey, have you seen my shirt? Have you seen that?" Oh, she would get right up and be like, "I
Yeah.
got you, baby.
Yeah.
I got you. Don't worry. Nope, sit down. I got it." I
Yeah.
was like, "Wow." She takes it really serious. And she
Yeah.
would go, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't wash it. I'll wash it right now." Gave me
Yeah.
10 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah.
"You're going to wash it in 10 minutes?" What are you gonna-"
Yeah.
They took it very serious. And, she would tell us, because my cousins work long hours. So, and she would say, like, "Oh, no, when my Jorge Luis or my cousins get home, I make sure the dinner is ready,
Mhm.
and make sure that I'm have to eat with him because
Yeah.
otherwise he won't eat,
Yeah.
But the dad takes that role serious too. Like,
Yes.
I come home, I want to eat with my family, but if the kids ate already, like, hey, the wife's there to sit with him.
Mhm.
And I love that. I mean, I'm not saying that those those roles have to be gender
Yeah,
specific,
yeah.
but they also take pride on that. They
Yeah.
still take pride on taking care of the house. Those a woman taking the raising the children,
Yeah.
being a mom to make sure that she feels fulfilled in her role as a mother.
Right. Right.
And I love that about that.
I feel like that's such a like old school mentality in a way, but I also admire that so much.
Hmm.
I think that is so beautiful to see that you take so much pride in that. And it made me just look at how all the work that they've put in, the time, the effort, the love, all of the attention to their kids, like where they are now, being
Yeah,
21 and 15, or just having kids where you're like, wow, they're very respectful, they acknowledge you, they say hello, they I don't know,
yeah,
they're well mannered and respectful, and they're good people, and
yeah,
they're not ashamed of being around their parents.
yeah. That's another thing that I
Yeah.
noticed. Like, they were young 22, 23-year-old adults going to college. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the cousins going to med school,
Yeah.
and he is the most respectful young 23-year-old I've ever met, and he still loves being at home with his parents,
Yeah.
still enjoys the company of their parents. I mean, he was playing with my son the
Yeah.
whole time we were there, just like, yeah, well, let's play. Think you want to play Monopoly,
Monopoly.
playing video games with him. He didn't have no shame in enjoying time with the family.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm leaving, I'm going here, I'm going to the party, I'm going here. It was like
Mhm. Mhm.
he enjoyed being around his family.
Yeah.
He still lives under my cousin's roof, and he um, represents his family
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's like if you act up or you do something wrong, you're doing something wrong and put my family name on it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you better act right or else, oh, the Aguilar boy, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, for sure. I think that's definitely so. It was such a great, like, for me, a great reflection just to see their roles that they take so serious and, like you said, so proud of it. They're
Yeah,
so proud to be who they are,
yeah,
or they take that role for themselves so seriously, and I don't think I ever heard anyone complain.
yeah.
I don't think I ever heard any of them like complain about something.
Yeah, no, they
I
didn't.
honestly don't remember that.
Yeah, like I said, it's like they take that role to heart, and
Yeah.
like if you complain about, oh my god, I did the chores all day, then who else is gonna do it, or why do you feel bad
Mhm.
about it,
Mhm.
or that's all you had to do all day. I don't know what they would say.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what they would say, because if I came home and I told you that, I'd be like, oh, don't worry about doing chores tomorrow. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it, or you didn't have to do all that. You know,
Right.
but there they don't complain. They were happy to do it.
Yeah.
Like
I know there was like piles of trastes, and I'm like, there's so many of us. Like, I feel bad. Let me do it. And she was like, no, no, no. Like, I got it. Don't worry about it. Like, you
yeah,
get your things done, or you go and be with the kids. And I'm like, what? I feel bad, but
yeah,
she genuinely, I don't know if it's just like we were talking about the role of like, this is just what I do. This is who I am.
yeah,
That she took it so like, okay, if it was
right.
me, I'd be like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me, so many dishes, where's my dishwasher?
Maybe now that we're gone, she's saying like, thank God
Yeah.
all those people are gone.
Yeah, but I was like, where's the dishwasher? I need my
Yeah,
dishwasher. Just
yeah, even that. It was just the dishwasher. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Those little things that we as Americans like
Yeah,
take for granted,
for sure.
but they get, from what we got from there, they really truly enjoyed
Yeah,
serving themselves and serving others. So that
definitely.
was a great experience to have. And I'm just glad that my kids got to see that side
Yeah.
of the family, which like again, it made reminded me that how we as Latinos love family. We're
Yeah.
so connected as family.
Yeah. And speaking of the kids and being with family, one of the things that we also talked about is like they were being kids. They were
Yeah,
playing. There was no sit on your phone and everybody, talk to each other across the room from a screen. They were
yeah,
legitimately playing. The kids
yeah.
learned such cool old school, what are they
Old school
called?
street games.
Yeah,
They
they
learned so
played
many,
games.
yeah, like where they were playing outside most of the day,
Yeah.
and a little bit of my anxiety kicks in just having my kids
Yeah.
play in the street, which I did as a kid growing up every day. Just go outside and play out in the
Yeah.
streets of Mexico City. And but after the first day of them playing, I could tell that they were happy.
Yeah.
They were safe, and I didn't feel the anxiety anymore. But then they had a blast every
They
day,
did.
no phone in sight, playing outside, playing just regular street games
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
all the cousins.
Yeah.
So I miss that. I miss those
Mhm.
aspects of Mexico City. They make great memories. And if you grew up in Mexico and playing on the streets, those, aeroplane,
Yeah.
jump rope, tag, hide and go seek on the
Yeah.
streets of Mexico City. It's hell of fun.
Yeah. And that's what they did. They got
Hmm.
to experience that and it was so neat to be able to see the cousins like it's like they knew each other for years, you
Yeah,
know? I mean, they haven't seen them in what, 2 almost 3 years, but they like picked up right where they left off and they're like, "Come on, come and play. This is
yeah,
how you play this game." And they taught them and even though Alice doesn't speak a lot of Spanish, like they somehow managed to be able to show them or teach them and include them and like, they all just mingled and played and I thought that was so cool because they don't speak English and we don't Alice doesn't speak Spanish, so it was really neat to see the interaction, the connection that they still
yeah,
had regardless of the language barrier.
yeah. The little English that they knew,
Yeah.
and they spoke it good.
Yeah. They
They
did.
spoke it really good, and they
Yeah.
were able to communicate with their kids, which they
Yeah.
speak Spanish, but not that good.
Yeah.
So that was a great experience, and I think now Alize is starting to talk more
She
Spanish.
is. She is. She is. And she's enjoying it. And we're listening to more Spanish music. And it was just a really beautiful thing to see the kids being off social media or, not being worried about phones and not being
Yeah,
just on electronics and
yeah, that was the
being
best.
kids, like
Yeah,
truly being
when
kids.
we went to the luchador fights,
Oh,
we
yeah.
went to the Mexican luchador fights in Mexico City, and we went to watch a couple fights, and obviously Alize learned one of the words when
Yeah.
someone does something bad. I don't know if she knew what it was. She was like culero, culero. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
It was, it was. And I feel like I don't know, most of me, I'm so like so strict with the kids sometimes where I'm like, no bad words, no this, no that. But out there it was different because for me it felt like I don't know, like it let me loosen up
Yeah, me
more and
too.
not be so uptight with like, no, you got to do this, this and that, It's
Yeah,
like I saw them, the little kids, were saying esto y esto, and it was funny. It's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
this is how you guys normally talk. Like this
right.
is such a normal conversation, or things that were being said. It was to be funny,
Yeah,
and it helped me loosen up and be
yeah.
like,
And
you know what?
sometimes we need to do that, and
Yeah,
I realized that too. I felt a little more loose about things,
yeah,
not being like, hey, hey, hey,
yeah,
just like okay, relax, and have some more fun.
yeah,
That's
for
one other
sure.
thing that I came back with is stop worrying about all the things that you worry about and have more
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Live in the now, um, in the moment that you're living in, because sometimes before I left, I was thinking about, oh my God, so much work stuff, so much this, so much that.
Yeah,
And now I'm starting to realize like tomorrow's going to come, the sunshine's going to come.
yeah.
And if I just don't worry about that, I'll have more fun here live
Today.
today,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And sometimes we get so wrapped in America, so about in
Mm-hmm.
the USA. I mean, on things like that, that I needed this vacation to realize like people are living happier
Yeah.
with less.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think brings us back to, or brings us to the next point of like willing to give you, like they're willing to give you what they have. Even
Yeah.
if it's not a lot or if it's not, big, like
Yeah.
they're always willing to give, to do, just to share what they
Yeah.
have, which I thought was so beautiful.
Yeah. It's so beautiful because I mean, obviously, we were guests there, but they would ask us what we wanted to eat every
Yeah.
day, and they're like, "What do you guys want to eat?" And if
Yeah.
we would tell them, like, "God, like I told my hands, like I kind of want some mole
I
tomorrow,"
know.
and they're like, "Done."
Yeah.
Mexican mole is the best. If you guys ever had, I mean, if you're listening to this and if you've never had mole, you gotta try mole.
That's big one of Victor's
And
favorites.
my favorite is some mole, and they made it happen.
Yeah.
They don't have much,
Yeah.
but if they can make it happen, sure, let's go.
And it was
So they
so
went out and
delicious.
brought the mole, the
Hmm.
rice, the beans, chicken. It was one of the most delicious meal I had all the whole time. Stay there.
Yeah. No, that's what I love seeing is, and I need to work on that. Yeah, I need to
Yeah,
be more of that way. I have, like you said, we have an abundance of things, an abundance of opportunities, and it's like we need to also be more, I think, giving or sharing,
yeah,
just like they did. Like they were so happy to make things happen. Like they were
yeah,
open. Yeah,
yeah.
excited,
It's like they're more relaxed and more like because, for example, like we could be in the middle of traffic, and Mexico City traffic is kind of like LA. It
Mhm.
takes you 45 minutes to go a mile,
Yeah.
and you could be in the middle of traffic and you're on your way home, and you could be like, I forgot to grab bread for
Yeah.
sandwiches tomorrow. And they're like, yeah, no problem. We'll get it right now.
Mhm.
For me here, I'd be like, screw it. We're not having sandwiches. We got to go home. We got to beat this traffic. I
Yeah.
can't believe you freaking forgot that.
Yeah.
But they're like, no problem.
Yep.
We'll just take a detour around this way and I'm like, detour? Where?
Where? Where are we
But
going?
because you said you forgot something,
Yeah.
oh, no, no, no. We're getting it.
Yeah.
We're getting it. Like, dude, that's going to add another hour.
Mhm.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's right here?
45 minutes.
45 minutes later. Aquí está al ladito,
Sí.
aquí está al otro lado. I'm like,
Yep.
bro, that's another hour. I
Yeah.
would have said, I forget. My bad. I even mentioned
Yeah.
it.
No,
But
that's
that's the kind
true.
of love they have. They're like, oh, yeah, no, we're getting it for you.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that you have everything you need
Yeah.
before we get home.
And it's like nothing ever felt like an
And yeah, that's what
inconvenience.
I'm saying. Like nothing ever felt like an inconvenience, even if it was an inconvenience for me.
Yeah.
Freaking traffic is horrible. I hate traffic.
That's so true. But there, it just seemed like nothing was an inconvenience. Everything seemed to be just like you said. Oh, no biggie. Like we'll stop by. We'll
Yeah,
go this way and grab what you need or get, like no
yeah.
problem. And I'm like, I need to learn how to be more that way.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what said me too. It's more calm, more like,
like,
oh, cool, yeah,
oh
let's get
yeah,
it.
let's just go. No big deal.
Sometimes it is a convenience to go to Walmart for
Yeah.
me, and it's like 5 minutes
2 minutes. Yeah.
away. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
What did I forget? I forgot milk at Sam's Club, and
Yeah,
then I was like, "Oh, I'll go grab it." And I'm like, "Oh, I gotta go to Walmart and go do that." I'm like, "Darn it!" And then I realized, Jessica, literally, it's 2 minutes away.
zero traffic always.
It's a straight shot.
A straight
Three
shot,
minutes. You're
no
in and
turns,
out
just like
within
boom.
10, if that. Like in and out, buying your milk and getting to the cashier and
Yeah,
getting out. And it's like, my gosh, nothing is an inconvenience to them, but little
It
things here are so inconvenient to
Yeah, that's the
us.
difference.
So, yeah.
Like I want their mentality here. That's what
Yes.
I'm gonna strive for, to
Yeah.
have more of a mentality like that. Don't make it an inconvenience, because you make it an
Yeah.
inconvenience only if it's in your brain.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you're like, yeah, it's right here. Don't worry about it. I'll go get some milk.
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely think that's something I want to practice as well, especially with the kids.
Yeah,
Being a parent sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we forgot this, or oh, we have to go grab this now, or oh, we have to make this for tomorrow, or whatever it might be. It's like, let's change that mentality
yeah, because
and think of,
they do it with love.
yeah,
You know,
they
those things
do.
that they have to do for their kids,
Yeah,
as a mom, as a dad. Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, son, we'll do it.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have to do it for school. Let's do it. No problem.
Yeah,
You know,
they're willing.
Sometimes we like put priority on other stuff like work,
Yeah,
job. When
yeah,
it's about work, they're like, oh man, I got to go to work. Let's go. Da, da, da. But why don't we do that with our kids?
yeah,
You know, for
yeah,
when they miss something, when they forget something. Oh yeah, no problem, son.
yeah.
Let's just take another 20 minutes and get it done.
Mhm.
You know, that's a good mentality to have.
Instead of complaining about it. Yeah, that's you're talking to me. Yeah, no, that speaks volumes to me, and I definitely learned that from them to bring that home with me and practice it and be more mindful of that, be more aware of it. So instead of finding, oh, wow, this or that, or complaining or whining, it's like, no, feel gratitude for it. And
Yeah.
it's a little minor inconvenience, but so what? Like,
Yeah, and I kind of want to practice the same, so our kids can see it,
yeah,
and they can practice it as they get older.
for sure.
And if something like that ever happens later on, if they hear somebody forget something that's family or somebody that are close to, like, no problem, we'll fix it, we'll get
Yeah.
it done. I'll go with you, I'll take you,
Hmm.
I'll help you. You know,
Yeah.
because that is really what Jesus really came here to do, and to teach us to be able to be more of a brotherhood to each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed.
instead of showing discomfort of your problems. You know,
Yeah.
when somebody mentions a problem, they're like, "Oh my God,
Mhm.
again, it's always you. You're always
Yeah.
forgetting something."
Yeah.
And I have to practice more of that, and that's what I'm
Good
bringing
lesson.
back.
Good lesson. Which I think going into the next point is we're talking about the mentality. The way they think or the way that they do certain things is different than how we do them here. When it comes to hustle mentality, or when it comes
Yeah,
to whining and complaining, or, just that never taking a break was a big part for me. Like, wow, how do these people keep going?
yeah,
How? Because just watching them, I'm like, I'm exhausted. Or just me being a guest,
yeah,
is like, how have you not taken a break? How have you not slept well? How have you not taken care of like you first? And it's everyone else.
right. Yeah,
I just, yeah.
I don't know if it's just like my family there. They live, who we're with, but they always had a hustle mentality. They
Mhm.
never stopped. It was
Mhm.
always on the go. It was always of, oh, he's got to go to work. I got to make sure I clean.
Yeah.
Okay, if he's going to work 16 hours a day, he comes home and he still hangs out with
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
He was still like, cool, I'm here.
Yeah.
And until I go to bed, I don't shut my battery off.
I know.
I don't know how they did that, and I guess it's just the warrior mentality they have. You
Yeah.
know, that warrior mentality that I think I had growing up.
Mhm.
And I still have it. The warrior mentality of never complaining.
Mhm.
You don't complain, you get it done. And I think that helped me also a lot. Through the military, through the police department,
Yeah.
when tough things happened, I had that mentality. It's like, what am I going to gain from complaining?
Yeah.
Let's just get it done. And the quicker we get it done, we're not struggling anymore. We're
Yeah.
not in pain. We're not, stressing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the quicker you get it done, get it done. Why are we complaining?
Mhm.
My grandpa
Mhm.
raised us that way. Like, don't complain. It's work. That's why it's called work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. And I noticed that too, that they would, like you said, go to work and then come right back and be in the best mood and hang out with us, and just be there with us and not be there. They weren't grumpy. They weren't,
Yeah.
I don't know, like it was just like they were there to enjoy being with
Yeah.
us.
You never heard them, like, when on Monday comes, like,
Yeah.
how's it going? Like, oh, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah.
Not like, freaking Monday, man.
Yeah.
Freaking
Yeah.
work. They,
Yeah.
they were never like that.
No.
It was just another day
Agreed.
that they got from God to be able to be with their family and to serve their family
Yeah.
again, to serve them with a meal, because the meals are a big part of their
Huge.
love language,
Yes.
which I don't mind.
Yeah.
My belly don't mind a little love.
But yeah, you're right. There
Yeah,
was no
it
complaints.
was like they woke up again to serve,
Yeah.
to serve,
Gosh.
and the hustle was there, and they never complained about it
Hmm.
because everything had a purpose.
Yeah.
There's a purpose. We're a team as a family. You do this, I do that, the
Yeah.
kids do this.
Yeah.
And the family functions from 7 a.m. till midnight.
Yes.
And then that's when we rest after that.
Yeah.
And everybody was there, had a purpose. Nobody ever complained to each other about why haven't you done this? Why haven't you
Yes.
done that?
That's true.
Or my day sucked today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Some of the stories that my cousins tells us about his job is like, oh my God, you did what?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, like
Yes.
holy moly. But he just was telling the story like,
Just nothing.
cool. And then I
Mhm.
came home and had a couple of beers and hung out with the family,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that definitely was something I also learned a lot about them, or that I noticed. It was like, do you guys not feel the heaviness of the new start of a week, or the heaviness of everyday grinding and everyday hustling? I'm like, wow, how do you guys do this? It's like for them, they felt like this is just what we do. Like you said, the mentality, the warrior mentality. This is
Yeah.
just what we do, and we do it with love. And
I think a lot has to do with the comforts that we have in this country.
yeah.
Like we want to sit around and watch Netflix
Yeah.
to distress about our problems, to sit around and eat foods and
Mhm.
snacks,
Mhm.
all this comforts that we have under the AC.
Yeah.
I can just go watch a movie whenever I want. Like all the comforts that you can think of,
Yeah.
they had some comforts, but I think their main comfort was their food
Mhm.
and being around each other
Mhm.
and making sure that everybody was safe.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
cool. Like everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Like
true.
cool. Like my work week is gonna be my work week.
Yeah.
If I sit here and complain and say like, "Oh, I have it so bad at work,"
Mm.
well, you got paid, you came home, you're
Yeah.
safe, you're healthy, and you're with your family.
Mhm.
It's like that's all they cared about.
And it wasn't just like immediate family either, like in their household. It's like I remember hearing some of our other cousins talk about like, "Oh, I'm taking care of my mom, or I'm helping my
Mm-hmm.
dad, or I'm
Yeah.
helping taking care of my sister," or it's like
Yeah.
it's not just in the home, it's like the extended family.
That's
They
thing the
also
family.
take
Yeah.
care of their responsibility of checking in, making sure they're good. Like, my mom got sick, so I'm going to go check on her and be with her. And so they would
Yeah.
have to leave, and they took on those responsibilities as well.
Yeah, it's all about family.
Yeah.
It's good to hear, and it's good for me to hear it to kind of get back at that.
Yeah.
You know, for us to get back at that, that
Yeah.
family is family,
Yeah.
and sometimes we have disagreements.
Mhm.
Sometimes we don't like what our family does, but at the end of the day, they're gonna be your family.
Yeah.
And when they come for help, and if you can help, be there for them, even just to listen.
Yeah.
Or go visit,
Mhm.
or invite them
Mhm.
over,
Mhm.
or share a meal with them. The little things. Mostly what they would do is just share a meal
Yeah.
and then sit there and talk,
Yeah.
go down memory lane, talk about like, God, remember 5 years
Yeah.
ago when Victor came and we did this and did
Yeah.
that, or 25 years ago when we went here,
Yeah.
just share memories, have a few drinks, have great food, and just be
Mhm.
with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of made them unwind and not think about the stressful things.
But yeah, the stress that comes with it. And we never needed any like big, like it wasn't big things that we needed. It was like you said, a good meal, have
Mm-hmm.
something to drink, and that's it. Un pan con
Yeah.
cafecito.
Pan
And
con
that was
fuzzy.
the best. Like un
Yeah.
pan con cafecito, we're always
Frijoles,
frijoles.
arroz,
Yeah.
tortillas.
Yeah.
Bro, them tortillas.
Tortilla.
If you've never been a tortilleria
Oh,
where you walk up there and be like, can I have 2 kilos of tortillas?
yeah.
Because they order in kilos
You need them.
and they're fresh. You can see them making them right there.
Oh,
You don't make it home with them. It's like fries. When you're
so
walking
yeah.
home with them,
Yep.
you roll one up and just eat it just like that. They're the freaking
They are.
bombers.
Yes, they are.
If you
The
ever
kids
been,
love them.
bro.
Yeah, the kids love them. I'm used to just eating 1, 2 tortillas here. I could not. I was like, I have to at least have 4 or 5 here. I can't
Yeah,
say no.
because they're so soft and just fresh. Like
Yeah,
they don't even warm it up on a pan.
I know.
Because you bring them home, they're so
They're
warm.
so warm.
You roll them up like a freaking taco like that,
Makes
bro.
me want one right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought some back too.
But they're not the same reheated though.
I know.
You know, they're like, they're still good, but not
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But
Man,
yeah, yeah, like you said, it is about the family dynamic. It is about being together and reminding that it's not anything big. We don't need anything big.
yeah,
We have everything that we need, and that's what Jesus did with his
right,
disciples. They ate, they sat around and talked and hung out, and they didn't need much.
yeah,
And I think we in America, myself included, sometimes I get so stuck on like, I gotta make sure I have everything for the guest or family to come over. If I don't have this, if I don't have that, I'm gonna disappoint them. What am I gonna do? And it's like
yeah,
simple things, like you said, or frijoles con queso y tortillas, and that's it. Like we don't need anything major.
yeah. I mean, when we have gatherings here, we're guilty of make sure the manteles
Mm-hmm.
matches the cups
Yeah,
and this and that,
yeah,
or else we're not gonna have invite anyone over because like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
this has to be perfect.
yeah,
Why? Over there, everybody would just come over
yeah.
the next day, and we would plastic clear cups
Yep.
and plastic paper, and the food was great.
And it was
The
amazing.
conversations were great,
Yeah,
and we didn't really worry about like what does the house look like.
yeah,
Do we have to clean up before?
yeah,
It was like, come over, bro. Like, just
yeah.
I don't know.
Which I think is something like, again, it goes back to like what we talked about is not they're not worried about the things that we worry about.
Yeah.
They're not so into, I mean, they're into social media or whatever, but I feel like the comparison is not there
Uh huh.
like it is for us, or
Right.
for for yeah, for us. It's not there necessarily as much as it is for us here.
Right. The
So
comparison game is not
yeah,
even there.
yeah,
I didn't see it. Like, I didn't see adults on their phones or
mm-mm,
social media or posting anything.
no,
And it helped me because I wasn't on my phone. I shared a couple things here and there,
yeah,
but it was more of like being present.
mm-hmm.
Is what I was taught. Like, they were all present.
Present, yeah,
No one was worried about their phones. No one was worried about what someone has shared.
yeah,
And social media takes such a big time from us here in the United States.
yeah,
And it gives us such stress. Sometimes that's my stressor.
mm-hmm.
What I read on social media,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you said, it's like doomsday every day.
Yeah,
Oh my
there's
God,
always something
the
negative.
sky's falling.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I had decided, more than anything, I had decided to take a social media break because Mamas had been the one who had pointed it out to me, like, Mom, why are you always on your phone? Why are you on your phone again? She told me that 2 or 3 times, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, the fact that my 6-year-old is noticing this is a big problem.
Right.
And I realized that I wasn't enjoying it. I was comparing myself. I was falling into that trap of I'm not doing good enough. I'm not enough. I don't have enough, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what made me really sit down and be like, just get off social media. Like, and now I keep forgetting I even have it. Like, I've
Yeah.
gotten off of it that I'm like, oh, I have to get back on, or I share, and I forget about it. But because the unplugging of that time that I took off, and being in Mexico and just being around everyone, just really, again, just helped me. It helped me realize, it helped me reflect. It just helped me be more present and realize that we complain or we worry about things that don't even matter. Who cares?
Yeah.
Certain things, and just reminding myself, like, be here, be now in the present, and
Yeah.
enjoy. Have more fun.
Right.
Let loose sometimes, and stop looking at what others are doing or what others have, and live your life.
Right. Oh yeah. The one other thing that I got back from Mexico and I thought about is like social media. It could be a good thing because you can share memories.
Yeah.
You can share pictures from people that are not close to you.
Yeah.
Like, we share pictures a lot because we have family in Mexico that we don't see every day. We don't
Yeah.
see for months or years.
Yeah.
And if we can share something they can see, and they share those stuff and we could see. But I saw myself also checking social media a lot, and being there kind
Mm.
of brought me down and be like, man, I waste a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of stressors from that, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of anxiety from that, from what I read, from what people say. And I'm like, I need to change that. And that's one of the things I'm going to change too, and not be in social media. Like, yeah, we'll share our podcast, we'll
Yeah.
share some videos, but just clicking, just to click, to
Mm-hmm.
open it, to see. And we recommend someone that's struggling through that to kind of get off it for a while, to
Yes.
kind of see where that takes them. That refreshness of your memory from your brain, when your brain kind of relaxes a little more.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
it does. Because really it was a habit. That's what I learned. It was a habit that I just had to click, click just to go see. And I didn't even want to. Like there was
Hmm.
nothing that I was looking for. There was nothing that I actually wanted to see. It was just the habit of clicking, scrolling. Oh, okay, cool, get out. Later on, okay, click, scroll. And it's just like I don't even know what I'm looking for. I don't even
Right.
know what I'm wanting to see because there's nothing here that I'm trying to
Right.
learn or read or whatever. It's like I'm just doing it out of habit.
Right.
So it's like I'm so glad that and it was hard. The first week it was hard because I'm like, oh, it's there. I know it's there. And I'm like, no, my mind has to be so much stronger than the temptation to want to, watch or to click or whatever. So I'm like, I have to remain in that mentality of this isn't gonna take my power. Social media is not going to take my power,
Yeah.
take my time. I made a commitment to myself that I wasn't going to be on social media. So keep your word and follow through.
Right.
And like now, like I said, it's been almost 4 weeks and I'm like, I forget. Like I
Yeah.
forget there's social media or I'll click in it and I'll go and I'm like, oh, get off this thing. So it definitely helped going to Mexico, being around people who weren't worried about social media or weren't just on their phones
Yeah.
scrolling and really just enjoyed being there. Because I can
Right.
remember so much of what we did, so many conversations that we had.
Right.
The kids remember things that they learned from their cousins.
Right. One of the amazing things that I saw is they still had a house phone.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
You're like, oh my god!
That's right.
They had one of those phones that you hang on the wall
And it had the cord.
on the wall, and they had a
And they had the
cord
cord,
on
yeah.
it. That was amazing. And the only person that would use it was my cousin. When nobody would answer his phone call on the cell phone, then he would have to call the house,
Yeah.
and then you could, because everybody could hear the house phone.
I
You can't
yeah.
silent the
I
house
forgot
phones.
about that.
So he would call and he would like, "What the hell?
Yeah.
Nobody answers their cell phones. Why do I buy cell phones for everyone?" But that's how much they weren't on their phone.
Yeah.
They were just, where the hell's my cell phone? Like
Yeah.
everybody would never have their phone in their hand.
Yeah.
That he had to call the house phone for someone to freaking answer the phone.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. And I loved that. I
Yeah.
really loved that because it
Yeah.
helped me be more mindful of being there and not worrying about checking my phone or being on my phone.
Yeah.
And for the kids too, like I didn't have to worry about like, oh, I got to take them off their game or I have to take them off the iPad because
Yeah.
they were just playing with their cousins. They were busy doing things, interacting and
Right.
and being kids. So
Right.
that was really, really good.
Yeah. Overall, it's like a grounding
Yeah.
experience for me and my family to go to a place where people are more grounded in their everyday, in their present moment.
Yeah.
That it makes you realize what you're doing wrong, or not doing it wrong, but just doing it in a way that maybe it shouldn't work for you.
Yeah.
It shouldn't work for you being on social media all the time, being on your phone all the time, worrying about things that you have no control over, and not having priority as a family.
Mhm.
We're making your priority, your worries being work, money, success,
Yeah.
your looks, you know, and having that priority of family in your life and the present moment
Yeah.
has made me realize that I need to change some of the things that I'm doing as a dad, as a husband, to make sure that I live my everyday in a better way, in a healthier way, and that's going to bring me less stressors in life.
Yeah. For
So I can
sure.
live my day not thinking, oh, like, oh, tomorrow's Monday,
Mhm.
I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Not think about it that way. Tomorrow, yeah, God's gonna give me another day to wake up and kiss my family, go to work, make some money, come home and be with them again.
Yeah.
Because if I make that my priority, that moment at work is not even gonna matter once I get home.
You're right.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how I saw their life being.
Mhm.
That work is just temporary
Mhm.
because their moment they look forward to every day is when they come home and they all have a meal together,
Yeah.
a meal their wife prepared with love that
Yeah.
day, and the kids are excited when the brother gets home,
Yeah.
and they go up and hug him like, "Ah,
I
you made it home.
know.
I'm happy to see you." And those are the moments that I think I'm striving for from now on, and living in that moment is going to make me a better dad, a better husband, and a better brother to my family, a better son. So concentrating on family, I think, is what I got from Mexico.
But I think we do a okay job when you come home. That is what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
You're like, all right, I'm looking forward to getting off work so I can be with my family. And I have hopefully most of the time a cooked meal for us, and we sit down and eat dinner as a family. And that's one of the things we do as a non-negotiable.
Right.
But I
I
think,
think I think what I'm getting to is my mindset.
ah,
When I come home, you know, leave work at work,
yeah,
leave money in the bank,
yeah,
leave anything that I worry about it in my mind.
gotcha,
Yeah, we do those things here,
yeah,
but then I come home and I'm still in work mode,
got it,
or I'm still in like, how are we gonna make this? How are we gonna do that? How are we
yeah,
gonna do this?
yeah,
You know,
hmm,
leave those moments where they need to be, but when you come home, be in the
be
moment.
here, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah,
I
because
see
we
what
do
you're
all of
saying.
those things.
Yeah,
We do. You have a cooked meal for me, and the kids always come and give me a hug as I run in.
yeah,
But in my mentality is where I need to be here,
like shutting it off.
shutting it off.
Yeah.
You know.
I do. I yeah. I see what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. Yeah. Well, hey, this is why God put that trip in our
Yes.
life so that we had these opportunities to reflect, to process, and try to implement what we want to improve on or work on. And even today's message at church resonated a lot with too. It's like
Which one?
just I don't know, like yeah. You're laughing. I know why. But no, if it's a reminder of being home here, present, being with our family. So I loved our Mexico trip. I definitely look forward to having more trips there
Yeah.
and making sure that our kids continue to live their culture, know their culture, and be so proud of their culture
Right.
and understand like yes, you were born in the United States, but you're also Mexican.
Yeah.
Like be brown and proud, and I want them to know that and I want them to feel that and to never feel ashamed of their color, of their culture, and to know like this is who I am and I'm proud of it.
Yeah. For sure.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for just listening, sharing. If this resonated with you, if you found this helpful, make this a I'm sorry, share this with someone who would also be interested in hearing more about this or learning more about our podcast. And we hope that this was just hopefully a little bit of laughter. But thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be back with you guys soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera el barrio.